Let's scramble the cubes. Okay, let's do some solves. Thanks to the WCA, after 800 official solves in 34 competitions across 7 states, I finally got my first podium finish. Check out worldcubingassociation.org to sign up for a competition near you. This is the Moyu Aofu 7x7 WRM. Costs $49.99 and it's the biggest N-by-N cube in the WCA. Right now I'm doing inspection. You're allowed up to 15 seconds to plan out your moves before you start the timer. Not in this video. The Dianqing Galaxy 8x8 Magnetic Speed Cube. The 1x1. The Yushin Huanglong 13x13 with cube in a cube pattern, and the X-Cube Master X2 with checkerboard pattern. Definitely not in this video. Here are my current personal records, or PRs, and world rankings in all the events I've done in competitions so far. One of my long-term goals is to complete my WCA profile, which means getting an official single and average in every event. I still need to get an average in Megaminx and 3 blind, and then also do 4 blind and 5 blind. This is the Moyu Aoshi 6x6 WRM. It costs $43.99. I really enjoy 6x6. I recently just got my first sub 5-minute single on 6x6. Yay! I would probably consider myself to be a beginner or advanced beginner on most of these cubes. This is the Moyu Aoshwang 5x5 WRM. Cost $39.99. 5x5 is a lot of fun. It's been kind of tricky for me to get my average down below 3 minutes consistently, and on this solve I made quite a few mistakes. My best time at home is 2 minutes 35 seconds. This is the Dian Megaminx Pro. It costs $36.99. It has corner-to-core magnets. A Megaminx is basically a 12-sided 3x3, and you can solve it in very similar ways. For one-handed, I use the Dian Guhong Pro M 3x3, 54mm standard edition for $16.99. I really enjoy one-handed even though I'm very slow at it and I haven't really learned proper finger tricks yet. If you're enjoying this video, please let me know by clicking the like button. For one-handed, I use the CFOP method just like I do with regular 3x3. I have not learned any special OH algs yet. For the big cubes, 5x5 and larger, I use the reduction method where you solve the centers first, then the edges, and then you solve the last step just like a 3x3. For one-handed, I do have an official 45-83 single, but because I'm still very beginner at one-handed, it's kind of rare that I get below 60 seconds. So I'm pretty happy when I do. You can actually solve the Megaminx in very similar ways to the 3x3. Here I'm doing the first 2 layers and the second 2 layers. On the 5x5 it looks like I messed up my centers and I have to backtrack, so I lost a lot of time. This is the YJ MGC Square 1, which costs $20.99. Square 1 is the only WCA event that shapeshifts. Square 1 is a lot of fun. On 6x6 I'm doing my last 2 centers, the red center and the green center. And next will be edge pairing. For Square 1, I start with making combinations of scallop and kite. Then I make the cube shape. And then I do the rest following Cube Master's beginner tutorial steps. Plus I have learned a set of edge orientation algs. On the Megaminx I'm doing second 2 layers. You can change the color scheme if you like. So I've set my last layer to be black across from white. This is the X-Man Tornado V3 M Flagship Edition with magnetic core. It costs $32.99. This is a great cube even in 2024. It's still my favorite. Originally used the beginner layer by layer method from the Simple Solution book in the early 1980s. With that, I averaged around 1 minute on the old Rubik's brand cube. Then at the end of 2020, I bought my first real speed cube. Then I learned the CFOP method in 2021 and have gradually dropped my average down to 27 seconds. For Megaminx, I use the beginner method from cubeskills.com, where you make the star, then you do the first 2 layers and second 2 layers, and then you finish the last layer in 4 steps with just a few algs. I'm still going strong on the big cubes. On the 5x5 I'm doing last layer, OLL and PLL steps, finishing it off with a V-perm. A good time for me is below 3 minutes, so we're not going to talk about that last solve. On the bigger big cubes I'm doing edge pairing, going better on 6x6 where I'm pausing less than on the 7x7. This is the YJMGC 4x4. It costs $24.99. It was set up with certain lubes and tensioned by thecubicle.com. For 4x4, I use the YOW method, where you solve 2 opposite centers, then 3 of the 4 cross edges, the last 4 centers, the last cross edge, the last 8 edges, and finally solve it just like a 3x3. This is Steven's Little Magic Pyraminx. It costs $16.99. It's had the washers removed and a magnet removed from each tip, and it's been tensioned and lubricated by thecubicle.com. For Pyraminx, I originally figured out my own method, and I used that for my first 2 or 3 competitions. Now I use the layer by layer method. I average 11 to 12 seconds at home, and this is what it looks like when I haven't practiced in a while. On 6x6 I got a dot case OLL. I know Tulik OLL, so I'm doing the dot case and then a soon case, or anti-soon, and finishing off PLL with a T-perm. My average of 100 is just over 6 minutes, so this is a pretty good time for me. Meanwhile, with the 4x4 and the 7x7, edge pairing is still going on. I look somewhat lost on 4x4. This is the Gans Cube M enhanced version. It costs $31.99. This is such a great cube that I bought 2 of them. For Cube, I originally figured out my own method, but now I use an intermediate method where you solve the first layer, then the last layer, and finally the centers. There are probably less than 15 algs in total to remember, and for me it doesn't seem any faster than the beginner method. I want to give a big shout out to JayF for creating the custom beat that I'm using as background music right now. If you haven't already, then go check out his YouTube channel, JFCUBING. On 7x7, I'm finally down to the last 2 edges and I've got some weird stuff going on here. It looks like I'm going to have to do a parody alg to fix it. This is the Qi magnetic clock. It costs $32.99 and it is the best clock for the best events. For clock, I use the classic flip method where you solve the cross, flip it, do the cross again, and finally the corners. I've also experimented with a couple of no flip methods. So far the flip method is still faster for me. If you're awesome, and I know you are, and you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button. 7x7 is the event that I've probably practiced the least out of all the events. I've only done about 80 timed practice solves in total, ever. What's your favorite cube? It can be a cube in this video, or a cube that was not in this video. Either way is fine. Let me know in the comments. 8.5 minutes flat. I'm pretty happy with that. This is the GAN 251M Pro 2x2 for $32.99. It's so much fun to use, I also bought 2 of these. For 2x2, I use the Ortega method, where you make the first layer, then the last layer, and then permute both layers to finish it up. Booyah! It took just under 25.5 minutes for me to complete all 12 events in this video, and the total value of all the cubes in this video was just over $380. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It took me a long time to make, and I have a lot more video ideas for the future, so I hope you stick around and follow me on my journey.